Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Friday the 13th, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread. First card we are starting our day off with today. I like it. We've got here our 10 of Wands. It's in its upright. We're out of the shadow period. I know it's been heavy. I know it's been stagnant. I know that this retrograde, that stagnancy, that quietness, that solitary energy, right? It might have felt a little imposing. It was navigating those points of pride. I like to describe this retrograde season as having felt like you were on hold music, like like just for hours and hours. And that's why it was really important that you didn't take it personally. You got productive, because now what are we seeing? You're getting back into that space of seeing if you took that time, if you didn't get caught up in your feels about it, if you didn't get offended, if you didn't get frustrated, if you just got practical, if you just got purposeful. This is now starting to see some of that work paying off. And a lot of it is coming through via the stretching of the energetic muscle, coming through in passion and perseverance that allows for breakthroughs. It's heavy. This was heavy lifting. This was heavy lifting retrograde energy. It was strengthening an energetic muscle. And what happens when you're in resistance training, right? When you're in resistance training, it's like the worst. It's like so bad. It's like that feeling of moving through quicksand. And you're like, this is so hard. But what happens the minute you come out of the retrograde and everything starts feeling like easy again, then suddenly you notice you got this big muscle there because you were having to do something when it was a lot harder to do it. So now we see that this energy, like this is now that moment where some of that passion and perseverance and effort is really starting to pay off. It is having a different impact depending on where we see you going and navigating through the frequency cycles. Now, for masculine and feminine energy deep within the divine union frequency, what we're basically seeing right now is so much of this energy. We discussed this. We've been talking about how these energies have been doing that work, pushing outside of their comfort zones, doing things in ways that they don't traditionally or typically do, things that are allowing for energetic breakthroughs, right? Because a lot of this energy, a lot of these lessons that have been coming through during this retrograde cycle are those important reminders saying, you want your manifestation to come in and you're going to do the same thing that you've always been doing? Is that what you think you're going to do? Is that what you think you're going to do? Is that what you think you're going to do? Like, what do you think was stopping the manifestation from coming through in the first place? It starts with you. And so for a lot of this energy, being able, this is the manifestation message that says, listen, if you want your manifestation to get you to Albuquerque, you better be ready to put your pedal to the metal, right? You got to be willing, you got to do your part. Right? It's not just good. It's not just sitting there, it's not just good enough to sit there and be like, I would really like some ice cream, I would really like some ice cream. No, it's that modality of saying, hey, you know what? If I want some ice cream, I'm gonna throw the universe a bit of a bone. I'm gonna get my bag. I'm gonna head over to the ice cream shop. You know what I mean? Like, so we see even now that a lot of the energy recognizing and identifying and being willing to come into alignment and doing the work that is necessary to do what it takes to be able to move towards the manifestation goals. This is why the energy is pushing outside of their comfort zone right now. Because this is the energy deep within the divine union that is implementing the changes. They're saying the painful changes. Because I told you, it's resistance training. The painful changes that are required to build into new pathways, building into new ways of being, building into new habits, building into new practices, building into new commitments that you are holding yourself to help you move towards the manifestation goals that you desire. And we see masculine and feminine both participating in that work. And it's hard. It's hurting the ego as they go. This is the energy that goes, yeah, it stings. It's my ego. It's my ego that stings because I have to do something in a way that I haven't done it before. For masculine, it's embracing that sense of play. It's embracing that sense of being willing and ready to look a little silly as you navigate forward in a way that you haven't before, while also healing and saying to themselves, there's a difference between childish and childlike. There's a difference between childish and childlike. There's a difference between childish and childlike. Childish is something that is solely built upon the self, that does not take consideration of those around me. Childlike is something that is amplified, something that is joyful. And so this is masculine energy that is healing as they go. Because if this is the masculine that starts to feel embarrassed in this way, the masculine saying to themselves, I'm not being childish, I'm being childlike. I'm not being childish, I'm being childlike. That is how the energy is healing, because that is the energy that recognizes the childishness that feels like something that is being extracted because it's not perceptive or conscientious of those around them. Childlike is always looking with fascination at the world with new eyes because you can't get enough of what you see there. While for feminine energy, this is the feminine energy that's getting really determinative, knuckling down, doing the exact opposite of masculine right now. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. And if this is the feminine energy that used to feel bad moving in that context, felt the obligations, the prioritization of the energy around them, always asking them to be adaptable, always asking them to be accessible. And if this is the feminine that's working on setting those healthier boundaries, doing a little bit of that energetic recall, saying to themselves, I got to focus. You got to give me some space. I got to spread these wings. I need you to focus, right? This is the feminine energy that's reaffirming to their own selves as they're doing that. And this is how the feminine is healing their own space in this place. I'm not being cold. I'm being hot. I'm not being frigid. I'm being passionate. This is the energy that is recognizing the difference between that withdrawal that feels like it's intentional, trying to intentionally make someone feel like intentional distance, versus the energy of the feminine that's trying to focus their fire as they forge something. So feminine is forging, masculine is expanding. Both of these energies, the expansion and the contraction, we've got here that wing work that we talked about. Masculine and feminine energy right now, but it's hard because I'm telling you even now, these are the energies that are moving in ways that aren't necessarily typical or natural of them, while also understanding and healing in the process. So there's breakthroughs that are happening, but they're breakthroughs that are occurring. They're not just breakthroughs like waking up and being like, and then everything was different. No, this is a breakthrough because you're doing the hard work and you're pushing yourself in that direction every step of the way. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, cycles closed. Cycles are closing. I just see it. This is the energy that feels like those cycles are closing right now, because this is the energy. And I have to stress this. It's not that these energies have moved into their manifestation goals. These energies have recognized that in sharing in alignment with the manifestation and building trust in the process of moving towards that manifestation, they've entered their manifestation. They're in the energy of the divine counterpart. They're in that, they're embodying that space. And so this is the energy that feels that easement, because it's not the energy that feels like it's a race. They feel like they're running a marathon with someone. And that sense of running a marathon is one where they're able to look over and they see that person is just with them every step of the way. Suddenly creates all of that space where someone may have felt like in the past they were running alone, or they were asking someone to catch up with them, or they were saying to someone, don't you want to come with me, right? This is that energy that may be feeling like they're looking back on experiences in the past and now saying to themselves, I was whistling in the dark. I was singing all alone in a room, because this is the energy that's now feeling what that energetic alignment is. And that is the closure point that comes when you feel that sense of coming into energy that feels like it matches you in the way and degree of trying to build trust. While for masculine and feminine energy, in separation, a lot of this energy that is in separation right now, the breakthrough is happening, and the breakthrough is not happening outside. It's happening in here, in it. Happening in here, in it. Did you just notice something in someone that would have had you on them like white on rice, would have had you on them faster than anything in the past, and then suddenly you stepped back, you looked and said no. You had that moment of recognition and said, I don't want that. That's not my manifestation goal. There's a lot of this energy that I see right now. Something about that period in the divine union. I mean, coming in in separation, having that modality of feeling that thing that would have called you towards someone, but this is the shadow of the past that is shining a light on the present. And something that may have drawn you towards it in the past is now something that you feel like you're stepping back from. This is a lot of energy that is feeling the change within. that is the call of the manifestation that is becoming embodied and characteristic in relationality to the energy, prioritizing it above all. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is, oh my goodness gracious, look at us. We've got 2 10 cards here. We've got 10 of Wands, 10 of Swords in its upright. So here we got a lot of cycles energetically closing right now. A lot of cycles energetically closing. But this is good because this is the energy. Look, these are the 2 cards we want to see together, because this is the energy that's speaking towards the idea of the door that opens is often that sense of feeling that sense of closure, right? That's that modality that we speak towards. And when one door opens, another door closes behind us, because this is the energy that recognizes how far they have come by what parts of themselves are no longer there. So if this is energy of separation that is recognized and identified, those aspects of the self that are no longer even present, via the movement towards the manifestation goal, this is a lot of the energy that's recognizing or feeling to a certain degree that they're moving towards their manifestations, because they recognize that they're already embodying the qualities and characteristics of what is required to move towards those manifestation goals intuitively. Almost like, again, they can't separate themselves from it. Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is coming into divine union, this is the energy that's recognizing and identifying to themselves as they're coming into divine union and saying, this is it. This is my manifestation goal. This is my energetic person. This is that energy that's in alignment with me. And why is that energy doing that? Is that because that energy's had all their manifestation goals already delivered? No. It's the fact that they are actively participating in an energetic connection that is changing their perception of the past in such a way that they recognize and identify that in the experience of embodying it, they now feel like they could never go back towards it. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, a lot of this energy that we're seeing deep within divine union right now, this is the energy that is having those personal breakthroughs, but they're also recognizing and identifying the changes within the self in the process, right? And all that work that we see, always continuing to move forward in that way. This is the energy that is identifying like that ability of doing, and this is what's nice about this here. For the energy deep within divine union, being able to do this work to a certain extent. This is the energy that is working and struggling not to fall back into those habits or the path that feels like it's energetically easier to a certain extent, right? Because this is the energy that is recognizing and identifying their personal limitations, and via being able to recognize and identify the personal limitations. This is the energy that is utilizing the pathwork of patience and perseverance, as it were, to overcome those energetic hurdles, right? And so what's nice about this is like a lot of this energy within divine union is recognizing and identifying their what their strong suits are, but also having a very clear optics in terms of what their weaknesses are. For masculine, I told you, this is the energy that's getting comfortable in their comfort zone. This is masculine potentially looking back towards themselves in the past and being like, I never would have had the energetic courage to do things in this way that I haven't done before. I wouldn't have had the ability to be childlike in this way. But this is the energy that's feeling that ability of becoming more comfortable in that space. For feminine, if this is the feminine energy that would have felt too much of that anxiety about others or their energetic opinions of them as they maintain their focus, this is more of that feminine that's articulating to themselves as well, basically saying, if I'm moving on that pathwork of patience and perseverance, I better be prepared to disappoint those around me that may desire me to go in towards them in their directionality. So both of these energies right now recognizing their personal limitations in the past, even as they're having these points of breakthrough as they continue forward. Third card in our 5-card spread for today. Look at this. Lovely cards today. This is some like pedal to the metal energy, my friends. We've got here our 8 of Pentacles and it's upright. So this is just more patience and perseverance, not taking things personally, getting productive, continuing forward. And I see even now, there's something about those situations and circumstances that the energy is already recognizing that something is getting easier. Something's getting easier here. Something is not feeling as difficult as it once felt. So this is a lot of that energy that's within divine union that's starting to feel the fruits of their efforts, either metaphysically in something that you are learning to do that's starting to feel more easier to do, or this is the energy that's starting to see the results of some of that work that they're putting towards things in this capacity. While for masculine and feminine energy, that is coming into divine union, a lot of this work that we see that is occurring right now coming into divine union, this is a lot of that energy that is built, like literally, this isn't the energy that has to go back to the past for closure. I told you even now, this is the past this is the energy coming in that is in divine union right now. And they're weaving together. They're weaving together. They're building trust by weaving together. They're passing the shuttle back and forth through the loom. They're creating that, they're restoring that energetic cloth of trust between them. And in the process of restoring that trust, they're closing any of those energetic cycles in the past wherein it feels like that trust was torn, wherein it feels like that trust was damaged. Because now we see that this is the energy that in the process of weaving that, they're also recognizing what was energetically missing in the past that was preventing that type of work to occur. And that recognition point, often the way we have closure is simply in the understanding. We don't need closure often via the apology. We don't need closure via the something coming towards us in the way we desire. Sometimes closure comes simply in the act of understanding the reasons that something occurred the way that it did. And so we see even now that that understanding that's arriving to a lot of the energy coming into divine union, that is the fundamental closure point. And that is feeling, again, I told you, the devastation and the elation of recognizing and identifying that that is occurring. Fourth, for the energy right now in separation, I told you right now, there's a lot of energy in separation that's basically just like manifestation goals or bust. Like I just see them walking down the road going like with a sign going, my manifestation goal or bust. And if they, and it's like they're looking towards others around them and they're like, where's your sign? Like, where's your sign? Where are you going? State your intentions, because this is the energy that is only looking to move forward with those that are able to articulate what their intentions are. This is, I'm telling you even now, this is a lot of that energy that recognizes that they've had some kind of breakthrough point. Because again, if there was something that occurred during that retrograde cycle, that the energy is like, you know what? Geez Louise, a past version of me would have just stuck around there indefinitely waiting for a manifestation goal to appear. But this is the energy that's suddenly like, no, I saw it a lot sooner because it felt too similar to that thing that I experienced in the past. This is the energy that's feeling, again, that bittersweet sensation and recognizing how far you've come via being able to identify what feels like it's a you problem versus what feels like it's an outside situation, not over-internalizing an external problem. Fourth card in our 5-card spread, please. Got our Emperor in its reversal. This is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine, again, feminine and masculine in separation during this time. It's not that it's not frustrating, right? There is not the fact that something here doesn't energetically sting, but I need to stress this now. If something is frustrating you that would have devastated you in the past, this is the energy that's holding themselves in appreciation in the fact that something is not devastating them, but irritating them, which is the amplification of the energy that is not overly internalizing an external problem. You get irritated with external problems. You get devastated when you feel like the problem is within the self. So we see even now for masculine, This is the masculine that may be feeling like they are nursing some energetic wounds here, especially if this is masculine energy that came forth towards feminine from a point of clarity and honesty, stating their energetic intentions, articulating their emotions. And if this was a feminine energy that could not match or meet the masculine in this capacity, this is a lot of the masculine doing that inner child healing, much like the energy within divine union, and saying to themselves, that was not a failure on my part. The right energetic connection with me will consider that a gift. And that is the masculine energy that's reaffirming and saying, I'm not going to internalize that. I'm not going to let my pride stop me from moving forward in the way that I know is best, because this is the masculine energy that is healing their space of pride. For feminine energy in this modality, this is why it's more frustrating. This is why it's more irritating, because if this is feminine that was seeking the articulation of the manifestation goals and the feelings from a masculine energy that showed an inability to do so, this is the feminine energy that feels that sense of a masculine who is not, again, and this is the frustration of feminine saying, I can't tell if that person was not brave enough or if they were intentionally trying to be overly controlling in terms of not articulating what it is that they were bringing forth towards me. This is that feminine energy that feels like that moment of frustration and vibration between those two spaces, and then reaffirms to themselves in that moment and saying, it doesn't matter, the end point's the same. It doesn't matter if it's intentional or not, the result is the same. Both of these energies continuing forward in this way, feminine articulating the mantra saying, my ability, the masculine energy that's for me will be able to articulate what they desire with me. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. A lot of this energy coming into divine union, that same feeling, masculine potentially feeling frustrated from the past. If these are modalities now that you're building forth with feminine from a place of consistency, that you may now see like was not allowing for a consistency to be able to build forth on. This is masculine either recognizing spaces or places that you would have done something different in the past, or recognizing those spaces where it may have felt like nothing you did was ever energetically right. Feminine going through, and that made me creating that sense of catharsis and healing of the inner child. Feminine, it might be feeling like more fire coming through. More of that kundalini activation in the feeling of frustration and seeing something that you may not necessarily felt like you saw, like you recognized at the time that something occurred. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, this is the energy that is recognizing and identifying deep within divine union. This is where the work begins. And this is the energy that's reaffirming their own sense of self in terms of saying, you know, this is the energy that's getting comfortable feeling uncomfortable. There's a lot of energy within divine union that's just working on feeling uncomfortable, like comfortable with discomfort. Masculine, it's coming through in that space of pride. Feminine, it's coming through in that sense of not being afraid to disappoint energy around them. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. And more of, like you said, that fire for the feminine, more of the catharsis from the masculine. 2 cards coming through right now in our 5-card spread. We've got here our Justice card in its reversal and our 10 of Pentacles in its upright. So masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union. What's one of the signposts that we're seeing that's occurring for a lot of this energy deep within divine union? If something doesn't feel like it's energetically imbalanced, this isn't the energy that's overly internalizing it. This is the energy that's kind of just saying to themselves, like, that's just the way it is sometimes, right? This is just the energy. This is the energy that is recognizing the difference between what they can change within the self versus the energy around them. And I got to stress, one of the things that's really beautiful for a lot of this energy within divine union is this isn't the energy that gets reactive. This isn't the energy that takes it personally. This is just the energy that effectively, like I want to say, they don't try to match the room, they try to be the room. Right? If you're experiencing something that you don't energetically like, what you're gonna delight somebody by becoming that? No. This is the energy that's learning to like shrug things off to a certain extent, because this is the energy that's working on becoming comfortable in spaces of discomfort. Right? That's the deeper lesson that's happening here for both masculine and feminine. For masculine, it's allowing for that, I want to say, a little bit of that feeling, I want to say, of what's the word I'm looking for? It came to me earlier today. Harnessed chaos, right? That feeling of being able to operate in a space that it doesn't feel like you have to control everything, just allowing for a little bit of that wackiness to come forth, right? That's that sense of play, right? While for feminine, it's more of that sense of not letting other people's chaos disrupt or affect you. Like, I just see it's all just kind of built upon creating as much focus as you can as you continue forward and focus and prioritize on what it is that you know is your priority. Masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now. I got a lot of clean hands happening here. Why do I got clean hands? Because what's happening in this moment or modality where this energy is looking back on the past with a renewed sense of injustice in terms of something that they experienced and feeling that recalibration in terms of what they were feeling was their responsibility to change versus what was experienced. A lot of the energy coming into divine union, getting clearer eyes on that. This is the energy that's saying to one another, it's okay. Why is this energy saying it's okay? Because this is the energy coming into divine union that's saying, if all of that chaos is what brought me to you, well, I guess that chaos was necessary to be here. While for masculine and feminine energy coming in separation right now, a lot of this energy in separation, more of that frustration. More of that frustration, because this is the energy that's just frustrated. But I gotta say, this is the frustration that's acting as like a little jetpack, because this isn't the energy that's like feeling the frustration and tearing down the building within the self. This is the energy that's going, absolutely not. How dare you? How dare you try to do that to me? Like, I feel like a lot of that energy is like pointing their finger at the universe going, I saw what you tried to do. I saw what you tried to do. I saw what you tried to do. You tried to give me everything on the manifestation list and I forgot to list something. And so we see even here that this is a lot of that energy that's looking towards that's refining. They're using that moment to refine their manifestation. Because I'm telling you right now, some of the frustration that I'm seeing right now, and I'm giving a gentle hug to anyone in separation that's going through this right now. I feel like a lot of that energy just hit somebody. There's just left somebody that like they knock like every single thing on the checkbox, except for the most important one. Except for the most important one. And I can see a lot of that energy getting like a lot of Kundalini activation and that being like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? How dare you? Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, because that's the most important one, isn't it? You're getting into a better understanding of who you are and what's really important, what's really pivotal, right? That's that moment or modality of saying like that is the thing, that is the most important. That sometimes it's only in the understanding of the missing piece that we recognize what truly our most vital manifestation goal is. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Wands in its upright and our 10 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now. Lovers in its reversal. So this is a little, like, I got to tell you, I see a little bit of this energetic frustration that's happening right now. I can see a lot of energy right now. I can see a lot of energy right now that is in separation going, I'm in a rut. I'm in a rut. This is never happening. I'm in a rut. Is it, are you in a rut? Are you in a rut, or are you just not accepting the things that you used to accept? Are you in a rut, or are you just not accepting the things that you used to accept? Because that's not a rut, is it? The Mercury retrograde shadow period is like wants to point out to you the difference that a rut is doing something the same way and getting the same results and then feeling frustrated that you're doing the same thing and getting the same results. A breakthrough is recognizing a pattern, doing something different, and in the observation of saying, I literally see a bunch of energy going, this always happens to me and I'm not going to let it happen anymore. I am sick and tired, Grandpa. Okay, I am sick and tired, Grandpa. And then that's that moment. It's that moment, because this is the energy that doesn't realize in the moment that they say, I am sick and tired, what they've actually said is they're not tolerating something anymore. And the ability to move away from something that you're not tolerating, your manifestation is creating an acquired taste. And an acquired taste becomes a lack of tolerance. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that's maybe looking back at the past relationship and being like, why did I ever let you? Like, this is the energy looking back at the past relationship and going, oh, I'm going to feel sick. Like, this is the energy looking back at the past relationship and is now like feeling like almost energetically ill to a certain extent because they're looking back on something that they used to accept and they thought that that was the ideal and they were struggling with it and they're recognizing now, they're going, oh my God, like, this is the energy. I just see like a lot of energy looking back at their past right now and getting the ick because it's like they're suddenly recognizing what they're getting right now in energetic connection. And you're like, I was eating what? Well, what was in that? Like it's like that because they're recognizing the integrity of what they're energetically building forth right now in the connection. That's suddenly making them look back and go, oh no. You know, like it's like play back the tape. Like don't play back the tape. Like, well, for masculine and feminine energy right now. But this is important because this is the closure that's coming through. This is the energy that's identifying and recognizing. And like I want to say that gut check, you know that's your intuition, right? You know those are your guides going, yep. You know, well, for masculine and feminine energy, you know, and this is a little bit of that. And I want to say this is a little bit of this energy that was saying, I always knew something wasn't right. I couldn't put my finger on it. Now I can. Well, for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is the energy. I got to say it right now. This is the energy that is recognizing, And I have to say here, this is a little bit of the counterparts looking towards one another with us. I want to say this in the gentle way. I can see a little bit of this Kundalini activation that's happening right now for the energy within divine union. This is a lot of the energy within divine union, potentially looking at their counterpart with, I want to say, what's the best word to describe this? That it's that fierce admiration that, like, you know, like I want to put it like this, like you ever there's not a word in English for this. Maybe there isn't another language. You know that word when you look at someone you go, darn, they're so good at that. But it doesn't make you angry. It makes you, it creates that sense in you that, like, it's like that fire that comes off. It's like, you know what I mean? Like that. You know, it's like that passion feeling. And that's like the Kundalini activation. It's that sense of looking at someone. And it doesn't make you, it's not jealousy, right? Because it doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. It's that moment when you see someone do something and the ability of looking at them doing it, it just fills you with like it fills you with like passion. That's a Kundalini activation. So that's the energy that's looking right now towards their counterpart because they're trying to do something that they recognize that the counterpart can do with finesse, because they're taking pages from one another's book and they're just looking at them and they're going, and it's stoking the fire, right? It's creating that passion. It's creating that vigor in them, because that's that modality of feeling the joint frustration and trying to do something in a different way, and then looking towards a counterpart and being like, they're proof that can be done that way. And so we see even there that this is the energy that's like stoking, I'm getting here, stoking each other's fires in that way as they proceed forward in that capacity. Wow. And this is the energy being like, you're so good at that. No, you're so, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Swords in combination with our 6 of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our 2 of Swords in its upright. These are very integral cards right now. There's a lot of integral cards right now. And again, this is some of that Virgo energy that we find ourselves in right now. This is like, there are changes here. There are changes. Masculine and feminine, doing this work of building into a sense of learning how to be comfortable in discomfort. A lot of it is I want to say a lot of this is coming via V. Like resist, like I want to say that it's resistance and restriction to what feels comfortable, right? Because this is the energy that is trying to do something in a certain way, and via V being able to do it in that way, it feels like, I want to say, it feels like this is the energy that's like testing their like testing their own energetic boundaries, and that recognition point in feeling something that I can keep seeing. Like, and I want to say, this is how the energy is recognizing that they've made progress, because this is the energy that's almost saying something that would have felt impossible. If something that would have felt impossible in the past now just feels difficult, well, congratulations. Like if something that used to feel impossible now just feels difficult, this is the energy that's recognizing their own progress in that way. And it's either happening tangibly or metaphysically, is what I'm getting. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. This is the energy that keeps saying to themselves, this is the energy that's going through that frustration and saying to themselves over and over again, can't blame myself for something I couldn't see. 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 This is how the energy is effectively healing from some modalities right now, because now I see that it feels like their perception has expanded as it relates to past experiences. And if the energy is holding any frustration on those experiences, this is the energy that's immediately actively healing themselves via V, the mantra of reaffirming themselves and saying, I can't hold myself energetically accountable for something I couldn't see. I can see it now. I know it makes perfect. And I can even see someone saying that to someone. I can see energy now articulating some of those past experiences, and someone being like, I know. I see it now, but I couldn't see it then. Continuing to get clarification for a lot of this energy in separation right now. This is a lot of the energy that may have just felt like their energetic boundaries were tested. That's why I see that there's some of this energy of frustration right now, for some of the energy in separation. Because I'm seeing even now that frustration, if there's something that just occurred in separation where someone feels like they checked all the boxes except for the most important one, I can see the energy of like literally in separation going, this is a joke? What are you doing? Like this is the energy. Like really? Like really? Like a bit of that feeling to a certain extent. But you have to recognize, again, I'm telling you now, okay? The universe does not test, it refines. It says, can you be a little more specific? Can you be a little more specific? Can you be a little more specific? Because we see even here that this is the energy that is recognizing what is their nice to haves versus what is their need to haves. And so we see even now that for a lot of that energy and separation, knowing within the self what is a nice to have versus what is a need to have, this is what is allowing you to move towards like healthy energetic counterpart, because this isn't the energy that's playing like Yahtzee like that. This isn't the energy saying, what do you got? You know, like, I'll take that. Like this is the energy that is saying, I know what else, I know what it is, because I'll know it when I see it, because I know what it is that I'm seeking. Continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Pentacles in combination with our Emperor card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with, I love it, we've got here our Six of Pentacles in its upright. When you know what you're looking for, it's a lot easier not to get lost. When you know what you're looking for, it's a lot easier not to get lost. And we see that a lot of this energy right now in separation is feeling the integrity within the self that is guiding them forward. And I can see a lot of that energy right now is moving right now in separation, and they're not feeling like they're in separation, because this is the energy that says, I'm not in separation, I know what I'm looking for. How can you be in separation if you know what you're looking for? You're not in separation, you're seeking that, you're seeking it out. So we see even now that is the energy that via V, the refinement of the manifestation goal, the ability to set one's purpose and clarity in terms of what it is that you're energetically seeking, and also an ability to articulate upon it. This isn't the energy going, I don't know, I don't know, I'm going to meet and find somebody and it's going to feel good. What's good? I don't know what good feels like. It'll just feel better than this. Like, this is the energy in separation going, no, I know exactly what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. These are the boxes that I'm looking to have checked as it relates to counterpart. And this is the energy saying, I'm not accepting any imitations. And this is the energy saying, I'm in, like, look at this. This is the energy saying, I told you, the nice to haves and the need to haves. This is the energy in separation, working on those manifestation goals, going, this is necessary. This flexible. This necessary. This flexible. And I'm telling you, even now, there may be a lot of energy right now that's experiencing the fact that they're feeling frustrated because they had to move away from an energetic counterpart that had a lot of this flexible stuff that was very, very appealing. But where's the engine? Where was the engine? Was there? If there's no manifestation, there's no engine. So we see even now, like, there's a lot of that energy that's remembering, again, the artifice versus the integrity. While for masculine and feminine, that is having a little bit of a different impact now. For masculine, like working in that way, this is a lot of the masculine energy, taking some of the feminines. This is the masculine energy, taking some of the feminine's manifestation, because this was a feminine's manifestation like about a month ago. This is a lot of the manifestation of the masculine in separation, saying, I choose the energy that chooses me. I prioritize the energy that prioritizes me. So we see even now these energies are coming into alignment because the masculine is now articulating upon the manifestation goal that the feminine energy was articulating about a month ago. Thank you. So we see even here, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine, it's more about it's a little bit more of that kundalini, because I see more of the feminine going, the audacity. Like, this is the feminine going, I am not the audacity of, I'm not choosing the energy, that the masculine that has the audacity of coming towards me without a manifestation goal. Like, that's the energy of the feminine right now. Continuing to get clarification between our Emperor in its reversal, our 10, guys, I just got to tell you right now, we have to talk about this. We've got 3 of the 10 cards out right now. We've got our 10 of Wands, our 10 of Swords, and we've got our 10 of Pentacles all in its upright right now. So our 10 of Pentacles and our Justice card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our 6 of Wands, heavy 6 energy, heavy 10. This is good. This is harmony and completion. Harmony and completion right now that we're seeing across the across the table. Masculine and feminine energy in separation. This is the energy in separation. And I want to say this even now. I feel like a lot of the energy in separation almost feels like they're embodying their manifestation right now. Because there's something about this. There's something about choosing to move away from something because it did not check all the boxes. But most importantly, recognizing that that's not because that was pickiness, but identifying the difference between what feels like it was necessary versus what feels like it was flexible. That this is the energy that, again, the breakthrough is being in separation and saying, I don't feel like I'm in separation. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not wandering through the house aimlessly. I know exactly what it is that I'm seeking. Right? So this is the energy that via V doing that, I told you all of that path work during that retrograde cycle was helping you refine your manifestation goals. Unfortunately, sometimes the way we have to refine our manifestation goals is having something come towards us that isn't exactly that. Therefore we recognize and identify what it is that we're actually seeking. While for masculine and feminine energy, coming into divine union right now, this is the breakthrough that's just like this is like, I get the walls are tumbling down. Like, this is a lot of this energy here that is having that moment of celebration. And this is a lot of that energy in the past that's just trying to, I just see it, I just see a lot of energy being like, that is now all a distant memory. That is a distant memory. And I can see even now, that's why even if these are spaces or places where there's some kind of imbalance, some gross imbalance that occurred in some of those past experiences, this is not the energy that feels like, oh, I got to go back there and give them a piece of my mind. No, this is not the energy doing that, because this is the energy saying it's not necessary. That's how the energy knows that they've healed to a certain extent. This is the energy being like, wouldn't do it. Like the energy saying, I can hear the energy saying, what good would it do? What good would it do except easing my pride? And this is the energy that just came into union because they were able to put their pride aside. While for masculine and energy and feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to, deep within divine union, this is the energy, again, I just keep seeing learning to get comfortable in discomfort. For masculine, it's doing things in a way, in like allowing oneself to become, they're saying allowing oneself to become the student again. Learning how to do things in ways, finding that easement in terms of not fearing about feeling silly, remembering that in order to learn something, you always have to kind of allow oneself to feel like you're a novice. And that's the masculine embracing the childlike, not the childish. And this is the feminine that's recognizing, and I keep seeing like forging, like this is feminine, like learning how, they're saying like learning how to forge, like being able to build in such a way in terms of like, this is almost the feminine energy saying when I'm doing something important, I'm not going to let myself get distracted. So we see even now that those energies, like the reperception in what they feel like they were trying to avoid, that they're now actively engaged in healing, like healing within the self. This is a improvement of the self via the uncovering the abandonment wounds that may have caused that a bit like that inability to do something in such a way in the first place. While for masculine and feminine energy, continuing to get clarification between our Lover's card in its reversal in combination with our Two of Swords. One card to clarify, please. It won't come out. Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Wands in its reversal. This is good though. Like this is good. Look at this. We've got the 10 and the 9 right directly underneath each other. So this is a lot of that letting go process. There's a lot of energetic acceptance that I'm seeing that is occurring right now as it relates across all of the frequencies. For the energy deep within divine union right now, that observational point in seeing something from a new perception, like it can be devastating in that way that you see it at that point, because you're recognizing all those spaces wherein, you know, you couldn't see things like that. And I'm seeing even now a lot of that energy. This is some of, I want to say, this is some of that unpacked trauma that's potentially occurring right now, because if these are spaces and places wherein masculine is healing their sense of play and feminine is healing their resistance, they're going back to the source of where these lessons were inaccurately embodied within them. And it requires some unpacking. There's anger here, there's sadness, there's grief. But again, the fact that the energy is looking at something now with a point of grief is almost giving the expression of something that's healing. While masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, same exact message, except you're now doing this on the recent past as it relates to any of those energetic connections that you're building forth that may have created the erosion of trust in the first place. You know, this is the energy that I can just see, like, this is the energy that's like, I keep seeing energy. It's like, I'm in, like, I found it. And then be like, if you found it, why are you crying? And they're like, because now I got to take all of, like, I can finally start to heal from the trauma that all of those other experiences brought forth. Like, this is that energy that feels like, I told you, they just moved out of the ICU into like the recovery zone. And so now it's like, now there's a lot of that expression or expansion in being able to articulate what may have felt like it was impossible to speak about prior to this point. Masculine and feminine in separation. This is more just straight up frustration. And I gotta tell you right now, if you're in, I'm gonna say it again. I know you're like, I know that you're really upset if I'm saying this to you, but if you're feeling frustrated right now and not devastated, that is a good sign, because I see even now that annoyance, like not the devastation, but that feeling of like disappointment, like profound disappointment or profound like frustration. Why is this energy feeling frustrated instead of devastated? We get devastated We get devastated when we feel like we've done something wrong. We get devastated when we feel like we've done something wrong and we wish we could change something that we cannot change. We get frustrated when we recognize that we're experiencing something that we have no energetic control over. So I'm telling you again, if you're in separation right now and you are feeling frustrated instead of devastated, this is a lot of energy that is recognizing the difference between what they feel like they can change within the self versus the feeling of recognizing something that they know that they cannot change. And in the ability of not taking something frustrated and feeling devastated by it, this is the energy that's healing, because you're recognizing, again, the difference between an internal and an external problem. Continuing to get clarification between our Two of Swords in combination with our Six of Pentacles in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with the Page of Pentacles. So I told you, this is the energy in separation. This is how the energy in separation is healing. Because again, this is the energy being like, I can't do anything about that. This is the energy that just came out of that retrograde cycle, and they're frustrated. You are frustrated. I can see it being like, ah! Because this is the feeling of the frustration of being like, I can't do anything about that. It's out of my hands, right? And if these are energies that would have tolerated that in the past, if this is a situation where in the past you were receiving something that you didn't receive and you said, I guess I better start changing to try to get that person to give forth the thing that I desire them to do. This is the energy that recognizes that the line that you've drawn started with the line within yourself that said, I'm not changing. I'm not changing to try to elicit a manifestation goal from you. I'm not going to start to try to change to elicit a manifestation goal from you, because this is the energy that reaffirms and says, when I move towards someone, and they're not presenting something that I desire, and I start changing to try to elicit that from them, I'm building towards potentiality, and I'm not being my authentic version of self. So this is the energy that's found that anchor, and that anchors within. And that's the energy that's holding to that. And they're holding that manifestation goal and saying, I'm not going to see that and feel like I'm trying to change it. I'm going to recognize that by maintaining my energetic standards is a moment that's going to require disappointment when I don't see what I desire in another, but I don't take it energetically personally. While for masculine and feminine energy, so these are the energies that are moving forward and saying, I'm looking for a good mirror. I'm looking for someone that wants the same things that I want. I'm looking for someone that I don't need to bring that forth in or feel like I need to cultivate or craft or change that. I'm looking for someone that offers that displays that, that's doing the same work, that's in alignment. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is the energy that's receiving that right now. Mirror, healthy mirror. That what I give forth is what I give back. What I provide is what I receive. That sense of, again, that give and take that feels like it is alignment is when we feel that we have a healthy, restorative, balanced, energetic connection. And it's not always, it doesn't mean that you get exactly back, but you can feel the integrity of that energetic give and take to such an extent that, again, once you experience it, it gives a lot of clarity to anything that you may have experienced in the past where you may have felt like there was an energetic connection, but boy, was it not balanced. Boy, did it feel like it was top heavy, right? This soup is too hot. This soup is too cold. There's a lot of energy right now that's got the soup that's just right and going, you know what? That one was too hot. That one was too cold. This one, masculine and feminine energy coming into deep within divine union. This is a lot of that energy deep within divine union that is working on the spaces and places within the self. And this is the inner child healing, because I just keep seeing here that these are energies that feel like they're working on something that they stepped away from because they felt they were told in some way, shape, or form that was an act of energetic correction. So if this is feminine that's working back on, again, prioritizing their path work and learning to set healthy energetic standards. This is feminine feeling a lot of introspection on the first spaces and places that made them feel like it wasn't healthy to have those standards or boundaries. If these are modalities where masculine is working on that sense of play, embracing the childlike nature by recognizing the difference between childlike and childish, this is the masculine that's looking back to those spaces and places that made them feel like they had to walk away from their inner child in order to be a man. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. So we see even now that these are the energies that are coming back into a connection with a lost part of the self. That's soul retrieval. There's a lot of this energy that's going through that process of soul retrieval to a certain extent via the observation and saying like, I'm sorry I left you here. Got a little confused. I'm back now, right? Continuing to get clarification between our Six of Pentacles in combination with our Six of Wands and its upright. One card to clarify, please. Judgment in its reversal. And that's because a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, is having a different perspective, looking back on something in a new way. This is that modality of seeing something with new eyes. So for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, that new perspective, this is the energy that is coming into that pathwork of self-correction by reconsidering something in a different way. And that is that adaptability, right? That adaptability is the energy that's not just doing what feels comfortable, but is like investigating those parts of the self that are saying like, oh, we can't do that, and going, but why not? Walk me through it, right? And so that's where we see a lot of that introspection is occurring. And something about that introspection, it's allowing not only a change in perspective, but a change in process. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union, this is the change of perspective that changes everything. This is a lot of that energy. I'm telling you even now, this is the energy coming into divine union, building trust, and that is the change of perspective that is now changing everything. And so a lot of this energy right now, like it feels like the pieces are falling back together as they look at the past, but the new configuration that's coming forth by looking at that is built and based upon what they're experiencing in the present. While for masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, a lot of this energy that's in separation right now, questioning the self. I can see it even now. There's a lot of that energy in separation that even here, because I see even here, there's a lot of this, I just see a lot of this energy in separation that potentially walked away from an energetic connection where in the past they would have walked towards it. But because that prioritization point, the recognition point of the energy saying, this is what I'm prioritizing, and regardless of anything else, if that's not there, there isn't anything here. This is the energy that is reassessing those experiences of the past, because this is the energy that's recognizing that they're doing something. This is not a rut, because a rut is not a rut if you're doing something in a different way. A rut, there's a difference between experiencing the stillness that occurs prior to a change occurring versus a rut. A rut is only defined as doing the same thing again and again and again and getting the same results. A breakthrough is doing something different and then waiting in anticipation to see what those energetic results are. So we see even now that this is a lot of that energy that is taking a little bit of a wait and see approach, but they're recognizing and understanding that this isn't the repeating of an energetic cycle, because via your choices, you are prioritizing the manifestation goal. Continuing to get clarification between our Nine of Swords in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Pentacles in its upright. And so this is the energy in separation that's recognizing the patience and perseverance required to move towards manifestation goals. This isn't energy that's just running up to the first person they see and being like, you must be my manifestation. Or the energy that is not moving the way that they desire their manifestation to be and going, you know, you're supposed to be my manifestation and you're not doing anything the way my manifestation is supposed to act. You are not doing anything that I desire. You need to you got to fix this. You're not being a good manifestation. This is the energy saying, that's not how it, like, this is the energy that's recognizing and saying, being able to understand, like, the way you move towards manifestation is not just assuming everything that comes towards you is your manifestation. It's having the clarity to say to oneself, help me see what it is not. Help me see what is not that. Continue to give me the clarity. Asking the higher self, asking your guide, saying, continue to give me the clarity to see what is for me versus what is not. And for a lot of that energy, having a moment where there may have been something that felt like it would have in the past been something that you moved towards, and you suddenly said, no, that's not it. That is the energy that is almost recognizing and saying, I think my manifestation is working. And it's not because the manifestations arrived, it's because you recognize the changes that are occurring within you that are helping you find it. Continuing to get, and this is the energy that's saying, as long as you're in that modality, that becomes a moment of saying, give me the grace to be able to see what is for me, right? While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is the energy that feels like that sense of coming into something that's making everything clear. And I can see even now, like, a lot of that energy working through, like, even here, like, look at all the pain and the trauma that's coming through, because this is the energy that's coming into full understanding. It's almost like the pain in the past is getting worse now instead of better. This is energy that is coming into divine union, and they are hurting because the nerves are becoming active again, because the memories are reemerging. It's all coming back to them in a way that it doesn't feel sweet, it just feels bitter. But this is also the energy that says that ability to navigate that is because of the understanding of being in the space where the manifestation has arrived, that's finally allowing an ability to heal from what was required in order to be able to discover it. Masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now. Patience and perseverance is what I'm getting. Patience and perseverance. Patience and perseverance, both of these energies doing something in a different way. Masculine propagating, doing things in different, like, just, I keep saying masculine, opening up, spreading those seeds. Feminine focusing on that target. Masculine spreading spreading the seeds. Feminine focusing on the target. Both of these energies doing something in a way that they haven't before. And that's just the energy that feels like there's that change. It's just taking a little time to take effect. While for masculine and feminine energy, continuing to get bearing in mind this is not based on gender, clarification between our Page of Pentacles in its reversal and our Judgment card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Pentacles in its reversal. Whew, I just see this energy right now a lot. Like, this is the energy. I told you, there's going to be a lot of busyness. There's going to be a lot of busyness right now. Just work. Because I just see even now, this is some of that. I feel like we're in this, like, pre-eclipse. We're like, I told you guys this was going to happen. We just came out of all that stagnation during the retrograde cycle, and then congratulations, in about a week we hit eclipse season. So now we're coming. It's like, I know it feels like a roller coaster, but it's one of those roller coasters where it was like you're stuck at the top for a long time, and now everything's going whoosh, like, very quickly. So I see even now that this is a lot of energy, feeling that it's going to give you a feeling of heightened anticipation. We often start to feel a lot of this sense of heightened anticipation prior to the eclipse season starting. And this is the sense of, again, I'm going to say it right now, get your ducks in a row. You don't want to enter eclipse season. Like, again, eclipse season does not create chaos. Eclipse season amplifies what is already there. So making sure that you have your ducks in the row prior to the eclipse season starting is often a good way of making sure that you'll be in good shape when, like, that energy starts to amplify. So I see even now that for a lot of this energy, that ability of just putting in a lot of work right now, it almost feels like it's intuitive. But this is the energy that, again, it's that harvest energy. It's like what happens during harvest time. You're trying to get everything as quickly as possible. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of that right now. While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, This is the energy that's like, I literally see a lot of energy looking back on the past and being like, if I had 5 minutes and a baseball bat, like maybe not a baseball bat, but I can almost see some energy right now being like, if I had a minute with that person, poof, like I can almost see some of this energy, like almost like winding up to a certain extent, and then looking at where they are and going, but I'm not going to, because my energy is best, or and I see the energy going, that would be a waste of energy. That would be a waste of energy. Like I see the energy going, if why I oughta, like, and this is the energy going, but that would be a waste of energy. Because even here we see that is the energy that's reaffirming and saying, if like whatever that was, if this is what is the result of it, this is the energy going, I guess it's okay. Right? Like, I guess it's okay. Like, I guess it's okay. While for masculine and feminine energy and separation right now, a lot of this energy in separation right now, I just want to say, this is just speaking to me. Again, I literally see a bunch of energy in separation going, I'm done. Like I see a bunch of energy in separation going, I'm done. Like this is ridiculous. This always keeps happening to me, but it's not always happening to me. Is it always happening to you, or did you just make a choice that you typically wouldn't because you recognize something that feels like it's a repeating cycle? The minute you say, this always happens to me, is usually, I just like to point this out, the minute you say, this always happens to me, is usually the moment you've broken a cycle. Right? Because usually in that moment that you say, this always happens to me, that's usually the first time that you say it. And if you're making those choices, that's the energy that's saying that, because they're saying, I recognize my cycle. I recognize the choice that I typically make. And if that's the energy saying, I'm not going to make that choice again. Like a lot of this energy is recognizing and putting their energy and intention towards the manifestation goal, come what may. When we move towards manifestation goals, we relinquish the energetic outcome. So we see that a lot of that energy is doing so, because this is the energy that's basically looking towards their manifestation goal and saying, hell or high water. Like we're going to come what may, no matter what. This is the energy that says, I am prioritizing the manifestation goal. Final card in our spread between 7 of Pentacles in combination with our 4 of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Strength card in its reversal. It's vulnerable stuff. It's vulnerable stuff. Moving towards your manifestation goals, it's vulnerable stuff. It's scary. It's trust process. The energy in separation is doing the same work in rebuilding trust as the energy that's deeper within the frequencies. The trust that's occurring here is the energy in separation that is building into trusting oneself. And this is the energy that's articulating to themselves and saying, if I know what's for me, I also know I'll never miss it. This isn't the energy getting into that space of questioning themselves if they moved away from something that they didn't feel like was for them, and then saying to themselves, maybe that was for me. Maybe that was supposed to be for me. Maybe I messed up. Maybe that was the thing that was. How can you miss something that's for you? How can you miss something that's for you? It's for you. It's for you. You determine that. So this is the energy that's working into that pathwork of trust, of saying to themselves, you can never miss what is for you. How could you miss something that's for you? So we see even now that this is that energy that's working on that vulnerability point. Because this is almost the energy in separation. I almost say, but what if I don't know who I am? Right? Like there's a little bit of that work that's happening here. That's saying, if there's a moment that you say, I know what's for me, and you say, but what if I don't? You're saying, I don't know who I am, right? So this is the energy that's feeling that sense of going, I know who I am. I know what's for me. I know what is in alignment towards me. And so this is a lot of the energy that is moving the energetic ego aside, looking at like into their heart space and saying to themselves in that moment, Was that making you feel like this is the energy that's healing the inner child in the process? Because if this is the energy that was feeling like they moved away from something because it was making them feel uncomfortable, this is the energy that's grabbing the inner child and going, was that person making you feel uncomfortable? And the inner child's going, and that's going, okay, we're going to get the heck out of here then, okay? And the energy's going, right? Because this is the energy that is prioritizing the vulnerability of the self and saying, I am prioritizing that inner child that just went through something that was saying, I don't feel good here. I feel uncomfortable. And it wasn't that moment of someone being like, we have to stay here. That's our manifestation goal. That's our manifestation goal. This is the energy going, we don't do that. I'm prioritizing what I know is best for me. And so this is the energy of the in separation that is healing the inner child in the process of feeling the confidence of knowing what is best for them. While for masculine and feminine energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is the energy coming into divine union whose inner child is coming out. And the inner child is wailing. And the inner child is like screaming here. I can see them because they're saying, and they're coming out and they're going, I was really, 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 really hurt back there. That was really bad. And so we see even now that in that space of being able to build in terms of healing that point of trust, like some doors are opening here within the self. And who's coming out? The inner child. And the inner child is coming through. And this is the energy that recognizes and feels that sense of vulnerability that's required in terms of building into a space of trust, because you never know what's going to happen. But this is the energy that is continually, how is this energy building trust? Because as you build trust, you become more vulnerable. As you learn to trust again, you start to feel that it is safe to be vulnerable again. So a lot of this activation that we see right now with energy coming into divine union, it's bittersweet. I see a lot of tears here. I see a lot of emotional unpacking because this is the energy that's finally feeling like it's safe to divest that load that they've been carrying that has felt like a weight on their back. Because this is the energy that's feeling like they can finally take off their armor and let their guard down. While for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union right now, this is the energy working from a space of vulnerability. I told you even now, this is the energy that's getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable. Because this is the energy within divine union that looks towards those spaces that feel like they're discomfort. And they go, I'm going over there. I want to see what that is. Because this is the energy that is exploring their self in the process. And in the exploration of the self in the process, that's that moment that you don't just like see like a trigger within you or see something that you don't understand and go, oh, that's weird. You grab a flashlight, you go, I'm going in. Like that's the energy that actually utilizes that as the space that they're going to pinpoint their light. Bottom of the deck on this reading, 9 of Cups in its upright. So a lot of this work that we're seeing right now across all of the frequencies, I have to say here, it has to do with, I want to say, points of energetic comfort. Like what feels energetically comfortable to a certain extent. I told you even now, this is making sense because it's too easy. The thing about the energy within divine union is it's so easy just to say to themselves, but why don't I just stick to what I'm good at? Why am I pushing myself to, like there's a little, like the little voice that says, why don't you just stick to what you're good at? Why don't you stay in your lane. Like stay in your lane, right? Because I see even now that is some of that energy that's working through that to a certain degree. Because this is the energy that again is pushing, when you push your own envelope in that way, you recognize that there might be an easier way of doing something, but you're almost pushing yourself in a way because you want it to become comfortable. So we see even now that this is a lot of that energy working through that, right? While for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, they're saying to me like, this is the energetic hurdle. I want to say this, like, this is the energy that's now getting into the process of trying to let go of the bitterness of the past. This is the energy that is now saying, I recognize that the next step in my energetic recovery, if you're moving towards your manifestation, is learning how not to look back at the past from a point of pain or bitterness, but trying to find that, like, that positivity point. And I see even now, like, there's some of that energy that this is so fresh that it still feels like that, almost feels like it's impossible right now. While for masculine and feminine energy in separation, this is a lot of this energy that's feeling the anxiety in terms of saying to themselves, like, well, what if I don't find that person? Like, I can see, like, there's all these what ifs that are rising up. But this is also the energy that's almost saying to themselves, you know, in separation, that feeling of being like energetically good. This is almost the energy that's like reshifting their own feeling of partnership, so much as saying, like, you know, better the energy, better the partnership that sustains than drains. You know, like, this is a lot of that energy that, again, recognizes the vulnerability that is required in relationality to moving towards this, because this is the energy that's feeling almost building forth in such a way of not expecting it, right? I told you, this is what we articulate with manifestations. This isn't the energy that is desperate for it. This is the energy that's becoming content without it, because this is the energy that says it's going to enhance what I have. It's not going to add something that is not there. That is our daily collective read for the day. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I would encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended my class this week on the Hierophant. It was such a delight to be able to unpack that card with you. The next card that we will be studying in our class series will be the Lover's card. That next class will be occurring on Thursday, October 10th, at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern, if you would like to become a part of that class program. And now would be a great time, because you've got a full month to catch up on all of our classes. And if you catch up now, you'll be able to have a class every month leading up to the Lover's card. All you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack, gracestrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access and entry into each month's live classes. It's effectively your ticket. You'll also have access to all the course materials and recordings of all the classes. So as I said, now is the perfect opportunity to sign up, because you've got a whole month's worth of study ahead of you. Each class is an hour long, and you've got about 6 hours worth of classes to catch up on at this point. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we are learning. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but founding members also receive a complimentary mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your particular tarot study path. And I will give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize the classes, but also your own personal study to the best of your advantage going forward based on your skill level. One of the things I tried to do with these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader, as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you. if you've already if you're already participating in those classes, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. But even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there, because that's where I keep you up to date. Each day I post the podcast of this reading there. You'll also get to see the actual spread. I post the photo there as well. I also post articles monthly about the shifts that we're seeing energetically. I also post there a weekly newsletter, which will keep you up to date on my live schedule. Also about my in-person events. It'll also let you know about any of our giveaways. Speaking of giveaways, we just pulled the winner for our August giveaway. Congratulations to our winner. The winner is listed over on my Substack. If you would like to participate in the September giveaway for a free private tarot reading with me, head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you would like to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, I will be giving away a free reading not only to the winner but also to the person who referred them. So I wish you the best of luck if you've already entered. And finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are classes that are focused on your own personal spiritual growth and development, that can be focused on your own personal path or any course of study that you are interested in learning about. For this reason, they are customized, they are catered. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot, and those classes can actually be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series. That is 4 45-minute classes, 1 per week over the span of the month, which can be found on the link tree in my bio. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to be offering weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, 1 per week over the span of a month, so that you can stay more consistent on your own personal journey. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again.